I'm looking to launch an offer. I have clients who are dealing with chronic injuries over 3 to 6 months. What I want to do, I already have the Instagram there, so I'm just looking to kind of take advantage of that audience. I was asking before what would be the best way to do that. If I was looking at creating some form of we can go the scalable route, or we can just launch the actual offer route. Any ideas?
Sure. So I can give you the A to Z of turning an idea into 5 sales, for example. And you can apply this to any kind of offer. So you mentioned they're scalable, like potentially a group offer, or the back pain back to exercise, or potentially one-to-one coaching. In my case, it would be mastermind or one-to-one tier, or potentially even elite tier, where somebody would come out to Sofia, spend a few days with me, work on their offer. Doesn't really matter what the offer is. The process is going to be kind of simple. First and foremost, you need to get really, really clear on what you're selling. And when you're looking at an offer, there's 8 things that I look at, and I'll just run through them. First and foremost is just branding and alignment with your personal brand. If you're creating an offer, it has to be in alignment with your personal brand before you worry about anything else, because people will just not buy it. Doesn't matter how good the offer is if it doesn't make sense. If I suddenly started selling back pain programs right now, doesn't matter how good the offer is, people would not buy it because it's not in alignment with me, my personal brand. I don't have the authority. I don't have the credibility. If you're going to buy singing lessons, you wouldn't go to Cristiano Ronaldo, and you would not go to Ed Sheeran for soccer lessons. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Even though they're both seriously talented guys, if Ed Sheeran had the best soccer coaching offer you could possibly find, you still wouldn't go. The only reason you would go to either of these guys is because of their personal brand, not because of the offer.
Yeah.
You would go and pay Ronaldo for singing lessons and Ed Sheeran for soccer lessons simply so you could be in their presence, because you value them so much because of their personal brand and their success. So the offer has to be in alignment with the brand, and if the brand is incredibly big, then it overpowers everything. And this is Donald Trump brought out a meme coin the other day, and it just blows up, right? Not because it's a great offer, because it's a Trump coin and he's got an incredible brand.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. Once you actually have an offer that's in alignment with your brand and you can serve somebody, then you have to look at like 7 other things. The promise, what are we going to achieve? So potentially this is, we're going to achieve you returning to exercise over a certain period of time, back to exercise in 6 weeks. The plan, how are we going to do it? What are the steps? We're going to implement these 3 things. We're going to have 3 calls. We're going to work together as a group on one-to-one, whatever that is. The price, of course, how much it's going to cost. Are there payment plan options? Can you pay upfront? Can you pay weekly? Can you pay monthly? How does that look? Is there a discount for paying upfront? That's the first kind of 3 main parts of any offer. Then we've got the name, back pain, back to exercise, in your case. Something that people can actually remember, it's tangible, it exists. Back pain, back to exercise. Get on it if you've got pain. This guy is an absolute wizard. I've lost myself.
Name.
Gotcha. Name. After name, we've got scarcity and urgency. And this is just people, particularly on social media, attention spans are short. And people always say, tomorrow, I'll do it next week. If you're just constantly open as a coach or, consultant or whatever role you have, people don't have any reason to start working with you now. And they go, I'll work with him next week. Sure, I'll work with him next year. So there has to be some scarcity and urgency. This back pain, back to exercise program is 6 weeks. It's launching in 10 days time. You have the next 10 days to get involved. And if not, you miss out for the next 6 weeks and you don't get this fixed before summer. That's urgency. Pull the trigger now or you miss it. Scarcity is there's only 5 spaces available because I want to keep the delivery at a high level.
Yeah.
After that, right, that's a scarcity and urgency is 1. So we've got the brand, we've got the promise, we've got the plan, we've got the price, we've got the name, we've got the scarcity and urgency. Then another element to that is bonuses, which is also scarcity and urgency. If you join the back pain, back to exercise group before within the next 5 days, so the deadline is 10 days, within the next 5 days, you will get a bonus one-to-one call and a bonus movement assessment with me. You're incentivizing people to take action. And then finally is just a guarantee. So you can have any kind of bonus here, by the way, but it just incentivizes action. Finally, you have your guarantee. This is guaranteeing the quality of your service, the results, potentially something along the lines of, if you work with me for 6 weeks, you put in all the work on your end and you're not happy with the results, I'll keep working with you for a further 6 weeks to ensure results. So people are not worried about not getting the result. I flew through those,
Mm.
but those 8 components need to be visited before you actually launch the offer. And you need to know what each of those are as you create the offer. Now we have the offer created. We know exactly what it is we're selling. We know the price, we know how long, we know who it's for, we know how we're going to deliver it. The next piece is, how do we actually launch that? So there's a high likelihood you have people who are a good fit for this offer. You've maybe had conversations with them before. They're maybe in your personal network. They're maybe friends of friends or family members. There's probably a list of people who you think, this might be a good fit for them.
Yeah.
We get them on a list. We also think about, okay, what kind of content have I been posting that aligns with this offer? Who has been liking that content? Who has been engaging with that content? And we go through that and we make a list of people who engage with that content. So now we've got kind of 2 segments. Then we can go to social media and say, for example, we're launching this offer in 10 days' time. For the next 5, 6, 7 days, we can start to do a little bit of research using Instagram's features, polls, question boxes, buttons. We can ask questions that are related to the offer that we're solving or the problem that we're solving with the offer that we have. We also then can take the offer that we have and we can break down smaller parts of it and give them away. So for example, you're selling a 6-week back to exercise program.
Yeah.
You could on your Instagram story say, hey, here's this 7-day free trial of the back pain back to exercise program. This is what we cover in the first 7 days. Check it out. If you've got back pain, check this out. People will come, they'll ask for it. They've now identified themselves as somebody who needs help with that problem. You've given them some free value, and they may very likely come back and say, hey, I would actually like to work with you.
Yeah.
If they don't come back, you still can go and say, hey, how did you get on with that? Would you like some further help in implementing that? So all of your content over the 5, 6, even 10 days before you actually launch the offer publicly on social media is going to be around social proof, client testimonials, telling stories, gathering information, trying to bring people out of your audience to raise their hand and say, yes, this is the kind of thing that I need help with and I want help with. And by the end of that 10 days, before we actually launch the offer, we may have got a list of 20, 30, 40 people who are potentials. Now, of course, they're not all going to sign up, but we've now got a list of people who are potentials. Now, in the meantime, as we're doing all of this kind of research and data collection and finding out and promoting our service and talking about the problems that the offer fixes, we can also start conversations a little bit earlier. And we can say, hey, Robbie, you voted on my poll that you've struggled with back pain for 6 months. The upcoming back pain back to exercise program is specifically for people who have a long-term injury, 3 to 6 months that won't go away. Does that sound like something you need some help with? And if they go, yes, awesome. And you can schedule a call. You can create a document, an offer document with all of the details of the program, which you deliver to them and you say, well, look, we start next week, but I think you'd be a good fit. So if you want to get started a little bit earlier and get an extra week before the program starts just to look over things and get some basics in place, we can get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
And so you can be privately having people come and join the program in the week before you launch.
Yeah.
By the time you actually launch, you could potentially have filled the program already. And then you can just say, well, I was supposed to launch, but I put it out to my network and 5 people immediately signed up. So I'm going to postpone this launch and we'll do it again in 2 weeks. And you can tell your audience that and they will go, wow, okay, he didn't even launch it and he filled it. What do you say then? Next time, if you want to be involved, let me know and I'll put you on the wait list. And now these people will tell you, okay, I would have actually been interested in that, stick me on the wait list. And you have a list for going forward. If you don't fill it in the first 10 days or whatever before you launch, you publicly launch the offer and you run it over a series of 5, 7, it's up to you how many days. 5 to 7 days is probably the sweet spot, but you can run them for 3 days, you can run them probably up to 8. I think beyond that, there's probably no real benefit. The reason that we don't want to just do, because you see people on social media and they post once, spots available or new program, but to successfully actually launch an offer, people are out and about, they're on their phones, they're in the shop, they're talking to people, they're flicking through their phone, they're not actually taking things in. So you see that my post got 500 views. How many people actually really looked and read and actually heard the message? 10%? 5%? Who knows? I don't know. But it definitely wasn't 100%. I know that for sure. Think of the amount of content you've seen in the last 48 hours. How much of that can you remember? Now think about the last 5 years. Like there's so much content that just in one ear, out the other. So over a course of 5 days, we want to really, really hammer home that this program is happening. It solves this problem. there's a scarcity element. You can't take on that many people, or maybe you can if it's a big group program. Maybe you just go with urgency and you say, for the next 5 days, I'm filling this program.
Yeah.
And there isn't a cap on spaces, but there is scarcity because once this door closes, we're not opening the program for another 3 weeks. So there is urgency and there's scarcity in that this is the only program of this month of January, for example. When you finally actually do have that offer week, you're launching the offer with a post. You're telling people this is what's happening throughout the week. Again, we're just giving people social proof. We're giving them calls to action. We're following up with anyone we had a conversation with before. We can even offer to new followers if they come on board within offer week and say, hey, you just followed the page. I know this is early, but I have this back pain back to exercise. Not sure if it's interesting. Here's the first 7 days for free. Check it out and come back to me. So we're not directly selling. And if you hammer all of those things, by the end of the week of running the offer, you're going to have your sales.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that a lot of the time on the final day, that's when you'll actually get the most people. The first day and the last day, because people are finally like, oh, I got to just pull the trigger now. I can't miss out.
Yeah. What would you do then? Like, so let's say it's Thursday today. It's probably 3 o'clock. I have a call at 7, so I have 4 hours. So what would you prioritize those 4 hours?
So with those 4 hours, you give me the date. How many days from now is the program going to start?
8 days. Start.
Start, approximate.
Well, it closes on Friday of next week, so that's 8 days, but it starts Monday the week. Friday and then goes to
Okay,
Monday.
so Friday of next week is 8 days. Monday of next week is basically 11 days.
11 days.
Give or
yeah.
take. Okay. Okay, cool. So this is kind of perfectly in alignment. Over the next, not just today, but tomorrow, the weekend, over basically until it actually launches public on Monday of next week, each day, I would focus on identifying people who are a good fit. How can I identify people who are a good fit? Instagram polls. Maybe I already have a list of people I know are a good fit. The people who I know are a good fit, I'm going to deliver them an offer, but I'm going to ask them first, hey, I have this thing launching. Is it interesting to you?
Yeah.
And then you can drop them a message to have a call and you can run them through the details. And of course, that's the call where they will become a client. Or you could drop them a document with all the details if you don't want to take calls and you want to just get more people, more conversations overall happening.
Yeah.
And like your position right now, do you have people who are a good fit? Do you have a lot of people who are a good fit and you just are wondering, how do I now make them from a somewhat interested person into a client? Or you're in a position where you're like, I don't have anyone to even offer this to?
No, I have a pretty okay audience, and then I have enough people I think that are leads.
Cool. So what you could do as well is you could kind of test the offer with the leads.
When you look at, and this is actually an important point, when you say that to me, I was like, oh yeah, I was trying to think like I need to drum up a full new list of leads, but no, I don't. I have people that I would talk, like every sales call that I made over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I could look at those.
Perfect. Yeah. The people who didn't sign up. And you can go to your ex-clients.
Yeah.
So you can go to ex-clients with this. You can go to anyone you ever had a conversation with. You can go to current clients and ask them for referrals and see, do they know someone who would be a good fit?
Yeah.
You can go to your network. You can ask me and I'll ask my network if I know anyone. So there's a lot of ways that you can just try, and we use the social circle selling system inside the mastermind for this very purpose, because the world is built on relationships. That's a principle I truly, fully believe in, that the world runs on relationships. Net worth is network.
Network, yeah.
And we all have enough relationships and we all have enough people to actually see exponential growth, and we just need to know how to leverage that. So that is how I would launch an offer, and I would put my focus for the next 10 days. Content should be giving context to the offer. It should be showing social proof. It should be showing client results and testimonials. It should be telling stories. It should be telling about your beliefs and how you came to building the Back Pain Back to Exercise program, why it works, why it's efficient. It should be giving all of the context so people know everything about the Back Pain Back to Exercise course before it actually launches. They feel like, I know exactly what it is. And then when you make the offer, it's like, yeah, makes sense. I know what it is. Secondly is just getting as many of those people identified as early as possible, getting them on a list, and of course getting conversations and getting them started. And if people are ready to start now, 10 days before, what I would say is, look, it starts in 10 days, but I want you to get the best results possible. There's no sense in hanging around. So you know what? I'm going to just tack on the 10 days. You work with me for the next 10 days. It's not even charged. You're only charged from the first. Now, of course, you have to take payment.
Yeah.
because people have to be committed. But you say, look, for the next 10 days, I'll spend the next few days doing your programs. You'll have the entirety of next week to look through the programs, familiarize yourself, understand the concepts, understand how the program is going to work. And then next week we'll actually kick off with our one-to-one call.
Yeah, nice. That sounds good.
Boom.
I like it.
I want to see how the offer goes.
Absolutely.